Just don't know if anything happened or was it exposed in the nick of time. My wife and I married 18 together, 28, 2 teenagers 17 and 15. We are both friendly and have many friends of both. Timmy's early days fueled by booze could lead to some epic battles. I quit drinking 20 years ago. She did not any gathering that alcohol was a factor. She would be the life of the party. Many would take her free spirit as a threat to their relationship. Most realized she meant no harm. Eventually, as we grew older, she became more belligerent every time she drank, which wasn't often, only at events. The flirting became embarrassing to me and also to other sober people in attendance. If I approached her about it, there it would be God forbid I ever let loose without being judged. Every fight that night at home would be her using the cruelest words and phrases and belittling me about being the responsible adult for last 10 years. She never remembers our fight. Always we would reconcile with makeup time and move on. In 2021 we attended 2 weddings that year. She took on a new job and it totally backfired. High-paced, cutthroat big business. They allowed her to work from home, which she did from an office on 3rd floor. She would work from 7 a.m. to every effing day. This went on for some months and we attended both weddings. In June she got trashed, hung all over random guys trying to introduce me. I'm sober, mind you. We were heading to beach first week in July, whole family and kids, friends, new start maybe. We stay at a place that in order to access beach you must walk through an outdoor bar area. Wife and kids head down. IDCK around an hour later I bring buggy and officially set up. Day 2 I come down and I start across bar patio and look to my right. I see my wife, beer in hand, talking to a below average guy. Emo. She didn't see me. 40 minutes later she comes to chairs. Totally pissed. I couldn't stop and see her. I said I didn't want to interrupt. She gives me his history of beach life and says and he's gay. A day later he approached her but she was sober and not real responsive. 3rd day I come face to face walking out of shower room. He had creepy eyes during ride home. My youngest says to my wife, "Why did you keep talking to creepy guy?" By mid-August she landed, only by God's grace, her dream job. 44, and finally it went her way. I truly was happy and thankful. I was a little shell-shocked about how she was treating me, accusing, manipulative. Just how distant she seemed. Any way to dismiss, reject or belittle me became her obsession. I was totally confused. She traveled to South Carolina, New Jersey and Philadelphia, 3-day stays. She flew to SC and New Jersey, took a train to Philly. Her contact with me was very little. I didn't press it. Out of the blue in the first week of December she says she has to make another trip to NJ. Definitely seemed odd. She would leave the 10th at 5 a.m. to drive there. December 9th is my youngest birthday at 7 p.m. and a few people are here. We have cake, candles and happy birthday. Immediately wife looking at phone says she's got to make sure she's packed. She goes in bathroom, ba and turns water in sink on. She's complaining about water pressure. She heads upstairs. I hear my youngest yell, "What?" and goes in bathroom and says, "Yes, I'll bring it up." My kid opens her Facebook Messenger and discovers that she's been communicating with a gay guy from beach. She screenshot what she could because wife was now in panic mode. Hour later my youngest comes to me and fills me in. Kids are in panic mode, confused and fearful of the unknown. They go to rooms. I call wife down, annoyed I interrupted her. She comes in. What I calmly ask if there's something she needs to tell me, talk about, reveal. No, she says, like what I say. Another guy maybe. I know some info. She thinks I'm talking about her work people. No, how about Patrick, the gay guy from beach? Her face and chest bright red. I reacted only, and it was only 2 times maybe I responded. So on Monday the 7th at 4:30 a message on her instant messenger comes in. "Hi, did you have a great holiday?" She responds immediately, "Hi. I did. You? How have you been?" He replies with some crap about his holiday. He follows her on FB, Instagram and at 6:30 he asks, "So are you coming over for Christmas?" She never responded. It was intercepted prior. She insisted it was nothing, him being inappropriate. He asked her another time, "How's my favorite MLF?" She obviously had been entertaining him. She immediately deleted him from all social media. She said her only sin was not blocking him before. She insists nothing secretive or inappropriate was shared. 1. When she went to Philly or NJ previously, did she meet up or was it planned for this trip? 2. If it was an emotional relationship, was it ready for next step on this trip? He's from Philly area. 3. Why would a so-called stranger basically feel he could ask you if you were gonna visit over Christmas? 4. Since she has returned to the person I loved and adored, she's great. 5. I have refused her time. Wool advances ATM. 6. I still believe there's more. Story 2. My girlfriend of 4 years met someone on vacation and 2 weeks later had an affair with him in another country. It's 1:46, and I can't sleep. About a month and a half ago, We each went on different vacations. I had a vacation at a beach with the boys, while she went to Costa Rica to do volunteer work and travel for a week. I was originally going to accompany her on the volunteer trip, but I have very strict parents who didn't let me. We weren't going to see each other for a month, and we texted like we usually do. We had a 1.5 year long distance relationship, so it wasn't big a deal. We gave each other our space while on vacation, so we could enjoy it. I left days earlier and for a shorter time, so when I came back home I got COVID and had to quarantine for 2 weeks, while she was in Costa Rica. Everything went smoothly, but we had a fight on our only FaceTime call. We usually just texted. It was my fault, so I apologized for my behavior, and we still texted like we usually do. She also made a lot of friends in her time there, which doesn't bother me, as long as she doesn't keep them secret or something. When her 2 weeks in paradise were up, I felt that she was a bit distant. She rarely communicated her feelings at the right time and would just explode when she couldn't take it anymore, so I knew what was coming. I still pushed for us to hang out, even though she barely kept up a conversation. We had time one time, but she barely kissed me during. Also, during a random conversation, I mentioned I got a bit jealous seeing her having such a good time over there without me and how I can't wait for our next trip together. She went full defensive mode, saying her best guy friend was gay. Something was off. She then surprised me with another trip. Her sister had already planned a trip to Europe, and she invited her along. She bought her plane ticket and would leave a week after her return from Costa Rica. Now I had a problem in my hands, since I wanted to fix whatever issues she was having before she left. We had our 4 years and 4 months anniversary coming up, so I decided to make her a nice dinner. While we're having dinner and sharing stories of our past, she suddenly exploded on me. She started saying I was too focused on the future and not living in the present, that I was too clingy sometimes and wouldn't think about her once in the relationship as well. I went in shock and didn't know what to say. I don't remember what words I achieved to utter, but it just made everything worse. But the thing is, she was kinda right, I just never noticed. She used to do the same thing but stopped some time ago and left me saying those type of romantic clingy things. I didn't want her to leave like this, so I went the next day to her house. I think I just made it worse, since she obviously did not want to even touch me and spent a lot of time on her phone. For that reason, I got a bit irritated. I told her I wanted to talk about our relationship and what we can do to make it better from both sides when she got back. She agreed, we hugged, and said our last love yous. We kept a rather one-sided conversation over text. It was so obvious she was talking with someone else, but I didn't let that bother me. I was sure it was just a friend. 4 days in her vacation, her sister left to visit a friend for about 5 days, leaving my girlfriend alone. We texted when we could, until after I asked if she took some pictures of her day, she ghosted me. I didn't see any more stories on her close friends or received an update or anything. I didn't take it personally, I thought she just needed some space and didn't have the guts to tell me that. When we were on long distance, I loved exploring a new city alone, so I thought she was doing just that. How naive of me. During this time, I reflected on our relationship and my issues that I constantly drown out with WED. I also stopped smoking during her time away. I started journaling, which I never did, and started focusing on me. Not only that, but I also reconnected with some old friends. I wanted this to work. I was in love with this girl. I would do anything for this to work, so I rehearsed what I was going to say when I saw her again. After a couple of days, she started posting on her Instagram again. I noticed a guy I didn't know leaving some heart-shaped emojis, which ticked me off that something was wrong. I also noticed while looking for a playlist on her profile on Spotify that she followed this dude. 2 days later, she posted another photo and this guy was in the comments yet again. I got so paranoid. I talked with friends about it, and they told me not to worry, and I did just that. The only text we exchanged before her flight home was just me asking when she was coming back and a received cold response. The day she flew back home, I was at the gym and got this sick pain in my stomach, my gut telling me that she's been cheating on me. I tend to overthink, so I wrote the reasons why I thought she would be being unfaithful. The reasons seemed very reasonable to me. I'm kind of embarrassed about this part, but who cares? I remembered I had her school login info and I thought about looking in there and see if I could find any evidence. Which I did. She connected her school Google Photos account with her normal Google Photos account, so I basically had access to her camera roll. And boy do I wish I could erase what I saw. This guy in her comments was all over it. It looked as if they were a couple. They were kissing, smiling, a few pictures without shirts, touristing, on the bed, him making her dinner, a hickey she left him. Pictures that she had sent me before I was ghosted were apparently cropped, him being in the corner. Romantic pictures at the same museum, where she shared me some art. They apparently met in Costa Rica, and it looked like they hit it off. No evidence of physical cheating in Costa Rica, only in Europe. I noticed she took some implicit pictures that she did not send to me during her week back home, that she obviously sent to him. There were also screenshots of Snap Map, showing how he was in the same city before she got there. This destroyed me. I screamed for what seemed hours. I called my brother up, and he helped me calm down. His ex-girlfriend also cheated on him, so he could relate. After talking about it with my brother and friends, I felt a lot better. This speaks more about herself than me. I burned our pictures and other memorabilia I had on me. I confronted her the next day. I started by asking who was this guy, and she lied about it. She said he was just a friend from Costa Rica. I told her straight up that I knew he was more than just a friend, and basically told her my thought process on finding the evidence. Even though it's not the best strategy, I wanted to be upfront about it. She then changed the subject by saying how dare I look into her photos. I repeated that she cheated. We then spend the next 50 minutes talking about our relationship and where I went wrong. Apparently, she wanted to break up before she left, but couldn't do it. She didn't want to feel guilty for making me sad, which I find to be such a BS excuse. But, to be fair, I did mention I had been having suicidal thoughts for the past couple of months before she left for Europe. She mentioned she had strong feelings for him since the moment they met at a bar in Costa Rica, that she hadn't felt for me in a long time. Felt a bit gaslighted afterwards and didn't get the chance to really rub it in that she cheated on me. I decided to take the higher road and just added the fact that she cheated in some sentences. Let her mind do the guilt tripping. So, it's done. I'm happy that I know for sure that she was not the one, and someone else is out there waiting for me. I still feel empty sometimes. She returned home for 1 week and something was up. One day before she left for another vacation to Europe, she exploded on me, basically expressing her doubts in our relationship. I said I wanted to talk about it with our minds clear when she came back, and she agreed. She then left for Europe with her sister and met up with the same guy by coincidence and had a week-long affair with him. I checked her Google Photos account, where I found evidence. Confronted her yesterday. She admitted that she developed feelings for him and lost interest in our relationship after meeting him for the first time. All is well. I still have my health, my friends and family, and a will to improve myself. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, go no contact and live your best life. Improve yourself and guarantee she will be reaching out to you. This always happens, especially since the guy is another country and relationships that start out with cheating almost never work out. So sorry. Op answer, thank you, I'll be sure to do just that. I'm really hoping she doesn't reach out, though Redditor 2, Jesus Christ dude, that sure sounds frustrating and painful. I'm glad you've got your health, friends and family. And also that your brother calmed you down, props to him. He did what a good person and friend brother would do. How are you feeling now after you wrote all this? BTW, I'm still reading some parts though. Op answer, it sure was. I'm feeling a bit better, actually. I finished writing this down at 3 and finally went to bed. Currently, at my university now, but memories of how she hurt me and from our relationship still come to me. Even tough, I know this won't help me and there's nothing there anymore. I think sharing my story with this subreddit will help me in the long run. Getting this out of my head and receiving support from strangers that went through similar experiences helps a bunch. It's comforting knowing I'm not alone. Redditor 3, you are incredibly lucky to have this support around you. I wish you the best and to find someone who really loves and respects you.